Hello Architecture 2 students. This video is going to show you how to do the foundation plan. This is the plan view of the foundation, so we're looking down on it from above. Later on we'll do a section view which will give us more detail about its construction. But this is the finished product. I know you can't read all the annotations and stuff on there at the moment, but this is the finished product, and you'll get a better view of these annotations as well. And it's really not, it's kind of simple. I mean, probably the most difficult thing is just knowing what to do with the lines and stuff like that. Okay. All right, so let's go to foundation plan. Actually, let me make another copy of level 1. Level 1, duplicate view, duplicate. Okay, and then of course you'll right click and rename that foundation plan. And I'm sorry, that should all be in capital letters. All right, and I'm going to put an extra number at the end of mine because I've got several of them. I'm just making videos and showing different classes and things like that. Okay, so foundation plan. If I click on this foundation plan and put it on my screen, that's where I want to be working at. There's a couple of settings that we're going to change. One setting that we're going to change and kind of show you what happens is right over here in the properties panel. There's a line called discipline, and then out to the right it says architectural. So if I change that to structural and then go back and look at my drawing, you can see that everything, the walls and everything have disappeared, but of course a lot of the other stuff, the furniture and everything, has not. Seems like it would, but it doesn't. So what we have to do is we have to go back, and I just turned it back to architectural. We have to go back to the drawing and go to visibility graphics. It's in the properties panel, and it's just a little bit above the discipline line, but the visibility graphics right here, and we click on edit. And we think of all the things that we can turn off so we see nothing but the floor. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is turn off the casework. That's your cabinets and things like that. And we'll scroll down here, turn off the doors. I am going to turn off entourage. No, I don't think I have any entourage, but you can turn it off. It's not going to hurt anything. I am going to turn my floors back on, however. Turn off my furniture. Don't have any of that stuff yet. So another one I can think of is specialty equipment right here. And other than that, I can only think of windows. All right, we're going to click on apply. Oh yeah, I forgot plumbing fixtures. So if you look over here, you'll see my plumbing fixtures. So we're going to turn those off. Plumbing fixtures, apply. Okay, and we also have some section views. Now you don't want to get in the habit of deleting things from these types of views because you might delete something accidentally that's very important. So I want to hide those section views right here. So I can go to the annotation categories tab, scroll down, and find, go to the S's and find sections. Sections right here. Okay, and then apply, and okay. All right, so I still have some stuff visible. I got my walls visible, which we're going to take care of those with the discipline selection over here on the left. Now I do need to hide my floor covering. All right, now some of you, I think I saw one or two people that made their floor covering as part of their foundation, as part of their slab. I don't recommend doing that because you're going to have to hide it. If you make it as part of the slab, you won't be able to see it, or you won't be able to control it and hide it. So I'm going to select the flooring and right click, and I'm just going to hide in view elements. And then as you can see, I'm going to go to do visibility graphics, or not, I'm sorry, not visibility graphics. I'm going to go down to the discipline line where it says architectural, make it say structural. And you can see now I have the type of slab that I should have. Just a slab. There are a couple of other things that I need to hide. I have these two work planes, which I created earlier to create something out of. And I'm going to hide those in view. I'm going to select category to get both of them. All right, and one other thing that you see a dashed line over here, and I forgot to show you one thing, is when you actually, to create that dashed line, you need to go and put on a thickened edge type footing for your design. Now, we can do it or we can't do it as far as in Revit. We always have to draw it at least and represent it that way. But I go ahead and just do it as 3D. I click on my 3D view, okay, and you look at your view and then kind of tilt it up. And I'm going to delete the thickened edges right now. Let's see, delete. Okay, so basically what you should be looking at is just an empty slab. Okay, now what I want to do is put a thickened edged footing on it. And I go to the Architecture tab, Floor Tool, and then Floor Slab Edge. Okay. And once I turn that tool on, all I got to do is hover over the bottom edge. Okay, I'm selecting the bottom edge, not the top edge, but the bottom edge, all the way around, and it's putting that thickened edge on it. Okay. So there we go. Going back to that foundation plan, and that's what creates that dashed line all the way around. That's a hidden line showing you part of the footing. All right, now the footing that we're using, let's see, I guess I can click on it here, right there. The footing we're using is a thickened 24 by 12, and you'll get to see what that means by 24 by 12 later on when we do the section view. But that's what size it is. It's 24 by 12, a very common slab edge. There's actually other ones that are available. I think right here we might find it. Okay, so there's like 3612 and a 3618. And these are all just very common sizes of thickened edge footings for our slab. And it fulfills the same purpose as like a stem wall and a footing does on like a building that has a deeper foundation. But we use these types of footings on buildings that don't have a deep foundation, such as we would apply to most buildings here in Texas. And that's just kind of what we go with. A lot of slab houses in the south, southeast, southwest are going to be like that. So the next thing we need to do is figure out where our load-bearing walls are going to go through, and we want to put some load-bearing footings on our design. So I'm going to bring my walls back. I'm going to click over here in an empty space on the screen. Go to, let's see, Discipline again, where it currently says Structural. I'm going to click on Architectural. And I got my walls back. Okay, and I have some load-bearing walls already that I've designed into the design. One is right here all the way through. One is here all the way through. And here's one all the way through. And this one goes most of the way through up to the garage. So I'm going to use that also as a load-bearing wall. And the reason I bring my walls back is because I need to know where to draw my load-bearing footings. And when I do that, I'm going to do it over here in the Annotate tab. Click on that tab, click on Detail Line. And I'm going to change my line style right here. I'm just going to change it to Hidden. Okay, just plain old hidden line. All right, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to find the center of the wall. You see where it lights up with the dashed line. That's the center. Okay, and I'm just going to draw it all the way across. Okay, I'm going to repeat that on all of my load-bearing walls. Okay, and I'm going to do these two verticals. Okay. And they're not going to be perfect the first time. We're going to go back and kind of edit them later. Okay, so I've drawn all my load-bearing, or I've marked them. I haven't drawn the walls, the footings yet. I've marked where they're going to go. And I escape to get out of that tool, come back over here to the properties, and what am I looking for? I'm looking for Discipline again. I'm going to turn it back to Structural. Okay, now I've got this. All right, so now these footings are going to have a width to them, kind of like the footing on the outside or the thickened edge on the outside edge here. has a thickness to it. And it's going to be the same thickness. It's going to be 12 inches because it's also going to be a 12 by, actually a little bit larger than 24. It's actually going to be 12 by 48 because it's going to span in both directions. But we're just going to mark the 12-inch part of it, okay, which since I put these lines right here in the middle of those walls, I'm going to offset them 6 inches in each direction to create that 12-inch footing, or that 12-inch hidden line to represent the footing. So modify, and I want to go to the offset tool, which is right here, offset tool. Right up here, I'm going to type in the distance I want that offset, which is 6 inches. And then I just simply come into the screen, and if you hover over the line, you'll see that light blue dashed line up here. You probably can't see it that well on the video, but you can see it on your own screen. And you just move the cursor, move the cursor back and forth, and it'll change sides. All right, I'm going to put the offset on one side and then put it on the other. So I end up with 3 lines all together for each one of those. All right, now that I've got those 3 lines, I'm going to make some more adjustments to these lines. I'm just going to kind of reuse some geometry. I'm going to draw this back to here, draw this one back to here. I'm going to draw this one back to here, and then I'm going to draw this one back to here. So what I end up with is this little plus mark in the center. I want that in the center of all of my intersections. Okay, that mark is really simply going to be used just to give me something to dimension to. All right, and right here I'm going to take this one, I'm going to shorten it to here. Take this one and shorten it up to same place, right here. Okay, so I got to come back in and put another line in that one. Like this one, shorten it back to here. Shorten it back to here. Now, another way you could do this is just simply going and deleting those center lines and then redrawing these plus marks on the inside. Okay, I'm going to go to annotate, line type, using a hidden line. And I'm going to finish this one, make it a full plus mark. Okay, I'm going to finish this one. Kind of get it in the center if you can. You really want to get it in the center, if at all possible. Okay, so now I've got those plus marks in there. I've got a little bit more editing to do to the lines. I'm going to go to this first one right here. And what I need to do is I need to split these lines because these lines go all the way through. I don't want them to go all the way through. Okay, so I am going to choose the split element tool, which is right here. And anytime, if you see I'm hovering over split element and then you see the SL in parentheses out beside it, that is a keyboard shortcut. You can actually just type the letters S and L and it'll go into that tool. And we'll select that tool and I'm going to split right through the middle of the intersection. Okay, I'm going to split all the lines, all the verticals and the horizontals. Split them all 4 sides. And then I'm going to come back to the corner tool and I'm going to click on the sections of the line that I want to keep. Right there. Okay, now I should just have the plus mark in the middle. I'm going to do the same on this one. And what I'll actually do is I'll go around and do all of them and then come back and make the corners. So I'll actually go all the way down to this one, split, 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 split. And this one doesn't need splitting. Well, no, it does have one split it needs. It needs that split right there, the vertical. Okay, zoom in here, go to the corner tool, create corner, create corner, create corner, create corner. Same here, create corner, 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 corner. Over here, not so much clicking, corner, corner. Whoops, it didn't work. There we go. All right, so that's what we end up with, is we end up with just those intersections having those plus marks in them. Okay, the next thing we're going to do to kind of clean things up, make it a little bit neater, is take these lines and draw them back right here. I wish we were able to edit the thickened edge lines, but we're not able to edit those, so we just have to deal with what we have here. But just kind of neatly bring them back to where they just meet perpendicularly with the outside thickened edge lines. Okay, so if they're too short, you want to draw them out, make them a little bit longer. Of course, you can probably fast forward a little bit to get beyond what I'm doing right here, because you've probably got the idea by now. Okay, that gets it. All right, so next is we're going to annotate. Okay, one thing I've got to do, this is part of the annotation, is I've got to, I got to draw another line in the garage. So I'm going to just draw a plain line. It's not going to be a hidden line. It's going to be a medium line. And I'm going to come about 3.5 feet from here, right there, and draw that solid line. Now that is going to be a step. Okay, so it's a 2-inch step up, because in our garage our slab is going to be not as thick. It's going to be reduced a little bit. Over here we got 6-inch slab. Over here we're going to have 4-inch slab, and that 4-inch slab is going to have a slope to the outside up here, so that anything that spills in the garage, gasoline, oil, radiator fluid, whatever, or you might use the water hose in here to clean something, and then all that will drain to the outside. That's the way that's supposed to work. All right, and this right here is the section that kind of steps up and goes as part of the regular 6-inch slab. It is partially in the garage, and I kind of look at it, it's kind of like a sidewalk or something in the garage. They're not 100% required, but go ahead and just put one anyway for this. And I'm going to go to a different foundation plan and show you, these are the annotations. Okay, now how did I annotate it? Okay, well, first thing I did is I went to the annotate tab and then clicked on text, and I created an arrow. Well, I didn't do it that time. Okay, I got to select the leader that I want, so I'm going to select this leader, the leader that has an elbow. Okay, and I just draw. Okay, and then of course it gives me a box after I make that second click. So I'll start here with a click, then I click here at the elbow, and then I click here where I want it to end. And then it creates a text box, and I type in whatever I need to type in, such as here, I wanted to indicate this 2-inch lip. Down here, I made a description of I guess the imprint of the garage, or the recess of the garage. And it says it's 4-inch concrete. That's what CONC stands for. And notice too that it's all in capital letters. Okay, 4-inch concrete slab over 4-inch compacted gravel. So what COMP stands for compacted. Slope 1/4 inch minimum per foot for drainage. Okay, now sometimes you'll even see them put a slope arrow on the garage as well. It's not always required. I mean, honestly, I don't know where it would actually be required. I mean, the description is usually good enough, but this is your slope arrow right here, and it's just drawn out of plain old everyday lines, and it's used to indicate the direction of that slope. Okay, other areas, like right here for the regular 6-inch concrete slab, I'll label it right here, 6-inch concrete slab over 4-inch compacted gravel with, and this is very important, with a 10x10 or a 1010 gauge 6x6 welded wire mesh. What is welded wire mesh? I'll show you real quick. Pull up some images. Okay, and pull these into the screen. Okay, this is welded wire mesh. This is probably something like what we're using or going to use, and that's kind of what it looks like. And how is it used? It's used like this. It's kind of laid out on the ground, and then the concrete is kind of poured to the inside of it. Okay, and the concrete kind of forms around the wire mesh, and it gives it tensile strength. Concrete is great for compressive strength, but it is not for tensile strength. But we've got tensile strength by adding the steel mesh. Okay, and this one shows the vapor barrier really good. The vapor barrier that actually goes down below that wire mesh. Okay, and that's also in our description. So I'll show you more on our description here. So after the welded wire mesh, we provide a 6 mil. That's what that means, 6 mil. Mil is a very fine measurement. Vapor barrier. Okay, so 6-inch concrete slab over 4-inch compacted gravel with 10-10 gauge, 6x6 welded wire mesh, and the 6x6 is the size of the little squares that are on the mesh. Okay, and provide a 6 mil vapor barrier. Now that one I put in 3 locations. I put the original one here, and then I copied one over here, and I copied one over here. And you want to do that because you want to put it in plenty of places so that they're sure to read it and sure to see that. Another annotation I put on here was this one. It says 2x4 DFPT, which stands for Douglas Fir Pressure Treated Seal. Okay, so that is the wall seal, the bottom board on the wall. So when they put the wall frame up, they've got that bottom board, which is made out of Douglas Fir Pressure Treated. And just that bottom board is all. And that's to protect against insects and moisture creeping in and stuff like that. But Douglas Fir Pressure Treated Seal with, right here, with 1/2 inch by 10 inch anchor bolt. Okay, and I'll show you what an anchor bolt looks like. So I'm not really seeing the pictures. Oh wait, here's one. This one will work. Okay, so an anchor bolt into the concrete like this. So they push the bolt down into the wet concrete. It usually has a curve on it. It doesn't always. Sometimes it's something kind of like this one. And then your bolt and everything go up top, right there. They put that into concrete while it's wet, and then it anchors the wall. That's how your walls are anchored down to the foundation. Okay, so 2x4, okay, which a 2x4 is not 2 inches by 4 inches. Again, it is 1.5 by 3.5 inches. We just call it 2x4, which is why I did not put the inch mark up above those numbers. So it doesn't say 2 inches by 4 inches. It's 2x4 Douglas Fir Pressure Treated Seal with 1/2 inch by 10 inch anchor bolt at 6 foot on centers. What that means, it means those anchor bolts are placed apart, 6 feet apart, and 7 inches minimum into concrete. So they're pressed down into the concrete a minimum of 7 inches. And a little ampersand here, 12-inch max from corners. So basically, when you start laying these out, you have to be within 1 foot of the corner when you place your first anchor bolt in that concrete. And with 2-inch diameter washer. So there's a 2-inch washer that goes over that as well. That doesn't get put on until you actually put the walls on. So you put the walls over the bolt, and then you put the washer over the bolt, and then you screw the nut down on top of the washer, and that keeps your walls up. Okay, so that is it for our annotations. I've got this one in 2 locations, here and here. There are a few other annotations as well that we do. I'm not really going to cover them on this drawing. I'll probably talk about them sometime later during another lesson. One other thing I will talk about is blocking out for your door. Now I've got a 196-inch garage door that goes here. And to block that out, I just draw with a medium line. I draw this in here. Make sure it's a consistent drawing. So make sure that this line is just as far from this dashed line as this line is from this dashed line right here, this bottom dashed line. All right, so just draw that shape in there. It looks like an L shape, okay? Looks kind of like an L shape. Make sure both L shapes are identical size, okay, and identical placement. And that just basically tells them that this is a block out. That's where they're going to basically form that concrete footing and prepare it for this garage door in this garage that actually slopes into the footing itself. So that's a block out 196-inch door. It's a single door for a 2-car garage. All right, and then of course you want to dimension things. That's the last thing you're going to do. Just use an aligned dimension. Grab the end, bring it to those little crosses that we made, then take it all the way to the end. Okay, and you got a line with your dimensions. It's dimensioning all of the load-bearing footings. And then I'll put an overall dimension on it as well. I'll come back and adjust those to their specific distance from the wall in just a moment. And we always want to do that. We don't want to have dimensions over here that are different from dimensions over here. That looks ugly. Okay, we want to keep them really nice, really clean. Do another dimension here. And we'll do an overall. All right, and that's really all the dimensioning we need. We don't have to dimension the front because everything is the same in the back as it is going to be in the front. Everything over here is the same as it's going to be here, with the exception of this would not get dimensioned on this side over here. It wouldn't get dimensioned at all. Okay, so that it would be slightly different. But that is how we do that. And don't forget to go back and set your distances. I'm going to set this one at like 2 foot. Enter. And then I'll make another line at 8 foot. Okay, and I'm just going to adjust these lines right to the very tip of those little guidelines. And then I can delete them. Do the same over here on this side, and you want both sides to look identical. Okay. Lastly is this bit of note right down here. You know, just kind of freeze your video on this screen right here. You should be able to see that. If not, I can show you in class. You can take a picture of it or something like that. But you need to have these notes on there as well. These notes are very standard. There are some things that would change in these notes from time to time, but for most part they're standard. And if you need to use them again in the future, being that you have put them on this plan, all you have to do is copy them from here and place them on your other plan, and then change whatever statistical information needs to be changed on the other plan. All right, so that is your foundation plan.